Okay, let's begin. Well, thank you so much for joining me in the session. The session is about tips to simplify cloud spend management. My name is Sylvia Gedge. I am the president of ScriptString. And today, really, I'm going to share a perspective sort of from my kind of point of view. I'm not necessarily a technical person. My background is business, finance, and digital transformation. I love sort of, helping people and influence positive change and really getting things done. That's, a little bit of my personality. I love innovation. I love sort of questioning how we can do things better and challenging the status quo. And really sort of, even as a leader of the team, this is what we do on a daily basis. It's, if something isn't working, that's okay. Let's break it. Let's figure out how can we do it better. So from my experience sort of throughout my career and working with digital transformation, including cloud optimization, really any digital transformation requires team. It's not just one team, team. It's really sort of teams, cross-functional teams working together, using sort of those as goals for the companies to move forward, including cloud optimization. Why are we talking today about cloud spend, right? Why is this a topic of a discussion? What's a big business? In 2021, the spending on cloud services is projected to 305 billion, according to Gartner. As a prior CFO and working with CIOs, everybody at the C-level, they continue to struggle with managing cloud spend. And with COVID, knowing sort of, the impact that it had sort of on society and workplace and everybody, that sort of, struggle was even much more predominant. And even the sort of the projected spend on cloud services, this is before all things happen. So, the real number is going to be probably much higher. So consistent performance and cost control is an ongoing struggle for any C-level and even sort of the directors, anybody sort of touching clouds and trying to figure out it's a bit of a challenge. I know that sort of, as a firsthand, I was in my prior role, I worked for a company who migrated to the cloud and went through this whole cloud spend sort of, firsthand, worked really closely with the IT manager and the IT director. It was, it was a big challenge. It was a big challenge, even for a mid-sized organization, because the bills were 50 pages long. It was really difficult to understand. It was a manual process. We didn't have any tools. We didn't have really kind of understanding, why the charges were going up. We budgeted sort of X amount of dollars, and it was 5 times what we budgeted. And that's not, at the time it was Azure, sort of that was the cloud vendor provider, had no idea what was going on. And it became sort of to that point that it was like that bill would come in at month end and nobody wanted to deal with it. But we knew when you had customers, those costs had to be allocated. There was chargebacks to departments, to projects. So we really needed to figure out a way how we can work well together. So you have the time constraints, all that manual processing, you have the budget pressure, especially with COVID and, everybody moving to more remote workplaces. All those costs sort of, were escalating. And then you have missing information and you really don't understand, okay, my performance, we had sort of problems, but my costs are increasing. Like, why is that happening? And then the accountability, is it a financial sort of management responsible for managing the cloud budget, or is it really sort of the IT or engineering? Where is that responsibility? So those are just some common challenges that speaking with clients and working sort of, with cloud spend sort of personally, what we sort of uncovered. So today I'm going to talk about 3 ways how you can focus and really look at cloud spend with purpose to increase and be efficient for your organization. So what can you do? Well, first thing is every organization is going to be at the different maturity level of where they are with their cloud adaptation. So some companies, maybe they just migrated to the cloud, they're figuring things out. Some are going to be, you know what, we have a pretty good handle on what we're doing. But yes, it's a lot of data. And there's sort of some challenges really managing in a timely fashion. And then you have sort of, ones which, budget is not an issue. We still need to manage our cloud spend, but it's really about being sort of efficient. Regardless whether you fall into that, we're just migrating or we have migrated to the cloud, and now we need to sort of figure this out. Outsourcing is a really good option to give you an idea and build a framework for your organization how to manage that cloud. It's going to, if you're small or big, it's going to free up your team from figuring out specifically making sense out of the cloud with focusing on other things that they need to focus on. It's going to build that framework. You're going to be working, if you select the vendor, they're going to be subject matter experts, that they have the skill. This is something that has been acquired over time. For us, sort of, we have DevOps sort of engineers. They've been doing this forever. So they really, really know, they have a deep understanding how all the different pieces, how all these different Lego blocks, the services, the performance, how it ties into cost. If I do this, what does that mean? So you really want to sort of lean on a vendor for that framework, for that experience, and really for the ability to deliver results quickly. How can I save 50% on my cloud spend? Because, we really have a big problem. How to do it accurately. You know what? My mandate, you're my vendor. You're going to deliver on that promise that you're going to save 50%. I'm going to hold you accountable, right? And that way I can focus on other things, other digital transformation projects, and it gives me a peace of mind regarding sort of to my cloud spend. So that's a tip number one. Get a really sort of solid vendor, do your research, interview sort of multiple ones and find one that works with your organization and for the maturity of where you are within your cloud adaptation. The second one is whether you're outsourcing or whether you're doing this in-house, regardless of the size, begin with the areas of cloud waste. And what this really means, there's always the 80-20 rule, really, regardless of, what we do in life. But that's the same thing applies with cloud. So there is, tools that can help you sort of, manage and figure out the analysis, what is that cloud waste? But you can do it sort of manually as well with probably sort of the vendors and the tools that you have at hand. And it's looking at the data. It's looking at sort of, what are some of the services that can turn off if I'm not using them? Did we spin up a free trial for a client? Our client is in the cloud. We spin up a free trial of a service. It was for 30 days. And you know what? Guess what? They're not using it. And maybe they even abandoned it after 7 days, but it's still out there running. Maybe it's a dev environment. Maybe it's a QA sort of testing. Maybe, it could be so many different things. But you need to create sort of a process with efficiency within your organization, within your business, that you can manage those cloud waste, that you have that finger on the pulse. Oh, yes, these things sort of, are not going to have that continuous cycle. They don't need to be always in production. So when they're not, turn it off. And that's going to generate huge, huge, huge savings. And somebody needs to be really monitoring that. You can do that with obviously automation, with sort of, putting sort of, DevOps and using sort of that discipline. There is many different ways to do it, but that would be sort of, critical area of focus. And with a lot of businesses, tying in really sort of the how are the users using sort of the cloud technologies, the cloud environments? If it's a 9-to-5 type of a business, and whether it's your customers or users, nobody's really sort of utilizing the services after 5, turn it off, right? Turn it off on the weekend. And that's going to give you big, big savings. And very often sort of, companies, find that this is, a big chunk where they can save very easily without having an impact on their business. And the last sort of, but not least, sort of a tip, again, sitting sort of, from that business perspective is really closing the gap between finance and IT. Cloud optimization is really sort of a function of a business. It's not very often it's seen, oh, you know what, it's the cloud, it's IT. They should really sort of, manage that. They're responsible for that. But what we found sort of, speaking with our clients and really sort of the people that have to be at the table is both finance and IT. And when you are sort of working through the framework and the benefits, it's really about kind of collaborating and having a consistent message between sort of those leaders, finding that alignment that really maximizes the savings for the company. And what I mean by that is, very often when, we go through goal planning as an organization, IT is going to have, their set of goals, they'll go and sort of, execute on that. And cloud sort of optimization, probably it might be one of those goals. And if it isn't, and this is what, as a company, as a whole, you're trying to do, well, it should be. And then for finance, because really there is that alignment that, you need to collaborate. Finance should always, as well, sort of as IT, if it's a common business goal, have cloud optimization as a goal as well. So it creates sort of that alignment. It creates the consistency. And when you are rolling out company-wide initiatives, it gets that buy-in from the top level down. And then when finance leader is engaging with their department and rolling out sort of the mandate, this is what we're doing. They share, our mandate is to save 50% of the cloud. It will create that synergy and it will support any of the activities related with cloud optimization as a priority for the business. It just trickles down within the organization. So really sort of the best way to close that gap is collaborate, set sort of company-wide goals. And that success will be based on sort of cross-functional teams delivering together as a whole. So we sort of at Scription, we have developed a product, document knowledge management, that also helps sort of businesses save on cloud spend. We do it differently. We believe, we're really sort of a data management platform. So we took an approach. Let's look at our data. Let's look sort of how we can help. And we created a solution that really helped sort of to save our customers 50% of their expenses. It helped them to save time on doing manual analysis, and it cut down the time substantially by 70%, 75%. And really it eliminated, because it's a tool that you can give it into the hands of business analysts and finance leaders and IT leaders. You don't really need to rely on IT and a lot of sort of extensive work. And it's just easy, simple tool that drives sort of results very, very quickly within the same day. If you'd like to learn more, happy to chat about it. Hit me up on LinkedIn, or you can learn more at scription.com. Thank you very much, and I will minimize my screen and take some questions. Okay, so the question, in your experience, do the cost estimation advertised by CPCs do justice to planning for cloud spend? Could you repeat the third cloud spend challenge in the chat? Okay. So let me sort of, let me give it a go. So the third cloud spend challenge, I'm just going to bring up the slide to the challenges. So limited accountability. So I'll start with the third sort of, challenge. So what it means sort of to me, and again, I'm sharing sort of my perspective. It's really sort of that lack of collaboration very often within the companies as a whole, and looking at from that 360 bird's eye sort of a business point of view. IT is going to have accountability very often within organizations related to the budget, but we know sort of, cloud has a much bigger impact on the business. It has impacts on sort of chargebacks to the client, services to the clients. So just identifying sort of, that as, as a goal sort of, for IT without sharing a shared responsibility across sort of different departments, finance, or, or others sort of, engineering. That's what I mean by limited accountability. That really sort of, cloud expenses, it needs to be a shared, and very often sort of the way it's positioned, it's not in a collaborative type of a way. It's limited to IT. I hope that answers sort of your question. So I will try to sort of answer the question. In your experience, do the cost estimators advertised by CPCs do justice to planning for cloud spend? I believe sort of, any tool, any vendor that provides you guidance and insights and ability to estimate sort of what your cloud spend, it's a good start. It's cloud spend, it's very sort of, it's complicated, and really sort of every business is a snowflake. When we were delivering a solution that we sort of, decided, okay, what, their cloud spend, it's a big business, we're going to figure out, we're going to help everybody. Everybody has slightly different pain points and slightly different desires, what they need to do with cloud spend, how to manage cloud spend, based on where they are with the maturity of their data, where sort of, some of the internal challenges sort of reside. So I think sort of, the estimators, it is a good start, but you need to spend more time really analyzing what are the data structures, what are the data challenges, where is your cloud today, and where do you foresee it going and growing in the next 12 months, 5 years, to really be able to create that robust sort of a picture of what that cost estimate is going to be, because it changes very quickly. And we've often heard stories just adding a simple database or something that you're making a small, what you think is a change, could be very costly for the business. And a cost estimator, and even in a simple conversation, you will not be able to catch that sort of. So it requires intensive work to be able to plan. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for attending the session. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the sessions. And if you do have any further questions, please sort of look me up on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to connect. Thank you. Have a great day.